American soil. The it girl right now in American gymnastics on the women's side is Nastia Liukin. She comes from gymnastics blood. Al Trautwig along with Elfie Schlegel and Tim Daggett, Olympic gold medalist. And as Tim would explain it, if you're a great American gymnast, you need to shoot for 4 things in your life. You need to be national champion, check. You need to go to the World Championships, and if you're great, win a couple of gold medals, double check. You need to win the American Cup, and you need to get to the Olympic Games. So she's working on 3 out of 4 maybe here today. She's got to make a comeback with her dad watching.
Yeah, actually, she is a little bit behind, but you can never count this young lady out. She is spectacular. She is the reigning world champion on the uneven bars, and we'll be talking about this all afternoon long. The scores have changed dramatically in the sport of gymnastics. There's her dad, a multiple medal winner at the Olympic Games, gold medalist, Valeri Liukin, one of the greatest of all time, and maybe his daughter might even be better.
Well, you talked about her being a world champion, Tim, and you'll soon see why. She has such exquisite lines on this event. We're going to be looking at angles, which we'll be talking a lot about on the uneven bars. This routine is tailor-made for her, but what she has to be very careful of is that she hits those very important handstand positions. The judges are being very strict on this event.
It's hard to believe. Torino was just last weekend, and here we are in Philadelphia thinking about Beijing 2008. You know she is.
Oh, there's no question about it. She really tried to downplay it when we talked with her yesterday. She said there's more to a gymnastics life than just the Olympic Games. She said, hey, I'm a national champion, and I'd like to win an American Cup. And although she is down quite a bit, I would say it is still, at this point, it is hers to lose. Remember, she was world champion on this event. Would do routines with a maximum of 3/10 deduction. They're much more critical now, though. So it's all about those angles. First one coming up right here. Where does she finish? Not bad. Here comes her first release skill.
Beautiful lines, eh, Tim? And the other thing you should look for is her legs are always glued together. Toes are extended.
Actually had a slight leg separation when she re-grasped the bar after her release skill.
She says this is a new routine. She hasn't had much time to prepare with the new code.
Double laid out somersault.
Marta Karolyi directing the women's team to 9 medals at last year's World Championships. Unbelievable stuff, and that was after a successful Athens Games. She's got the touch just like her husband does, and now your head's going to spin, just like figure skating fans did during the 2 weeks in Torino. No more perfect tens. That's it. Most likely you'll never see another one in your life unless there's dramatic rechange.
So yesterday in the prelims, she did a routine that was fabulous and had almost a point off because of angles, finishing right in the handstand. That was very good. Still going to be a 1/10 of a point. Now watch this one. If she finishes this turn right there, 30 degrees past a handstand, they have to go all the way up to a 5/10 of a point deduction. That was really close. It's either a 10th or it's 5.
And Nastia actually felt that the judges were very, very harsh with her score in the execution department. There's her release skill, well above the high bar, legs glued together. And of course, you're always looking for a perfect dismount. Don't want to move those feet because today the judges are going to crucify you.
So the judges are evaluating. The women have completed 1 rotation on the vault. The men, who are also here in Philadelphia, have gone through pommel, floor, and rings. And after the first event, you see that Nastia Liukin of the United States trailed by a pretty significant amount to Aisha Gerber of Canada, Laís Sousa of Brazil, Elsa Garcia, and Elena Zamolodchikova, an Olympics veteran that I'm sure you'll recognize. Now, Liukin went on the vault and recorded the score that she trails by 7/10. Elfie, what did you think of it?
Well, Nastia has had some difficulties with her landing. It was definitely much better in the first day of competition, the preliminaries. It's a blind landing. That's what makes this vault so difficult. And you'll see the judges will look at this very low landing, that deep squat, and that large step back could cost her 3/10.
And that's too bad because she literally can do this vault perfectly. In training, she stuck vault after vault without any error whatsoever. Just maybe trying to be a little bit too perfect, put that down. And when you're doing a vault that is a blind landing like this, it is so easy to just pull back a little bit and not have enough rotation.
And here, Tim, that deep squat today, they can take almost 5/10 of a deduction. That large step back, they could take 3/10 there. This could cost her about 8/10.
And the score for Nastia Liukin is a 15.6. You say, what did he just say? Well, actually, they've changed it again, and her total score is a 14.4, so I'm appropriately confused. Again, Al Trautwig, Tim Daggett, Elfie Schlegel, and Andrea Joyce back again talking about gymnastics. So the old look of gymnastics, what do we do with it?
Well, it's the 10.0, decades of athletes striving to get a 10.0, and here's the rule book right here, Al. I don't want to do it, but it goes in the trash. They have completely revamped the system, split difficulty and the execution apart. It's a little bit of a mess. You ask the athletes what they think about it, they all go like this. Yeah. I don't know.
So, Elfie, the simple question is, if we're not going to have 10s anymore, everybody's got to get used to what's good and what's great.
Yeah, you don't want a 10. A 10 is a bad score. Now, in the past, you looked at a 9 in the upper 9s. Those were good scores. Today's new code, we're looking somewhere in the 15 range, even a little bit higher. And actually, Shayla Worley and Nastia Liukin, 3 of their 4 events the other day were in the 15 range.
All right, 15.6. I had it right on the uneven bars, so that's pretty darn good.
That's a very good score.
The execution comes out of a 10.0, and the difficulty, it's additive. Every single time they do a skill, they get a little bit more.
So if you want to start and get used to this thing slowly but surely, you can look at the execution, and that gives you a little bit of a sense of where this would have fit in the old world of gymnastics. Back live in Philly after this. At his score, we go over to the uneven bars. Zhou Zhuru also representing China. How do they look to you, Timmy? I mean, how's the depth? How's the feeling? Do they look like they've got the right stuff?
Well, this, to be perfectly honest, these two athletes, I can't imagine us seeing them in Beijing. I spoke with Li Weizhou, who's one of the head coaches in China, and he said they are definitely second-team athletes, and, they would have to move up considerably in China gymnastics to have a shot to represent the People's Republic.
Well, one thing she does have is the look of many Chinese gymnasts on this event. The beautiful handstand lines and some of the skills. She had trouble in the preliminary competition. She fell.
But it's so critical right there. Just once again, the change in gymnastics on uneven bars. If you are 30 degrees from a handstand finishing a skill, it is a mandatory 5/10, half a point off.
Much better job today.
Gotta love the landing.
You gotta love the landing. That's Gym 101. Stick it. Last thing the judge sees. She is a great gymnast. There's no question about that. But there were a couple of spots where those angles were very questionable. Right there, that one's fine. 29.5 degrees from handstand like that one, only 1/10 of a point. If you're 30 degrees past the handstand when she finishes,
right there.
Very close. I would say that one still is only 1/10 of a point.
But depending on how strict they are, they could have taken 3.
That one isn't right there, though. If they evaluate that one properly, that was
fine.
A full half of a point off. And Al, just to do these skills, I mean, she's doing some of the most difficult skills in the world. Just to do them.
A couple of major bobbles today. Back we go to the uneven bars as Zhou Zhuru is given a 14.85 by the judges. Execution into the 8.65. That's a number we can all relate to. That wasn't very good, according to the judges. We're live in Philadelphia for the 2006 Tyson American Cup. Elena Zamolodchikova brings many stories. Some of them happy, some of them not. We'll talk about them as she gets set to perform here in Philadelphia at the Tyson American Cup.
Vaulting, the scores have been much, much higher than all the other events because you have only one skill that you can take a deduction on. So, yeah, he was deducted over